Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. This is Dr. Roddy Raban. I'm super excited about this episode. I have the pleasure of having my dear friend Jessica Maldonado on air with us today, and we're going to be talking about social media. Yes, again, but this time as it applies to the Latino community. No community is going to escape the trenches of social media. So we're going to be chatting about a particular social media influencer by the name of
Alexa de Llanos.
I keep having her tell me. So make sure you tune in and hear what we're chatting about. Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm super excited. I got Jessica Maldonado, a dear friend of mine here, who's a you're a journalist who specializes in Latino
and entertainment. Yes.
So who better to have here today? Well, thank you for coming. We're going to be talking about social media, which we constantly talk about because it's a subject that it's almost now become akin to plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery. And the thing is that every culture has its own influencers and its own problems. And so the Latino community, who is massive, who is very fond of cosmetic surgery because they're very connected to sensuality and sexuality and looking beautiful, they too have the same problems that all other communities are having, which is, what's the impact of these so-called influencers? So this idea of being an influencer means that you are, as a person, going to influence the behavior of other people. Definitely. And how you go about doing it and the responsibility you take and the impact you have is very, very powerful. And so we wanted to chat actually about a particular influencer, which I think encompasses basically all of them, but she's sort of, I guess, really controversial. Who's this person?
Well, we're going to talk about Alexa de Llanos, and she's an influencer, a beautiful girl, and she impacts a lot of the new generations. She's very voluptuous, she's beautiful, she's sexy, and recently she was under a lot of scrutiny by Mrs. Universe, former Mrs. Universe, Alicia Machado, who said that she just felt sorry for her for everything that she's done, for the society. That's what she said. So then, the mother, who's also a very famous journalist, Mirka de Llanos, went into the subject and tried to say, well, it's my daughter, and really, you can't be hurtful when you talk about the stuff or whatever she posts on social media.
I mean, which is ridiculous. So first and foremost, one of the things that drives me bonkers, batty, is when someone uses a social media platform, presents themselves in a way that, first of all, if you put yourself out there, that means you're open for criticism. That's number one. You don't want to be criticized, don't put yourself out there. Secondly, if you put yourself out there as almost like she's almost half naked in almost every picture. So if you put yourself out there so provocatively, you can't tell me that you don't want anyone scrutinizing you. So if you're going to make all kinds of money, because clearly she's not posting this because she loves swimsuits. She's posting this because she's making financial gains, all the power to her, then you can't be shielded from criticism. It just doesn't work that way. Once you're a celebrity, you get the benefits and downsides. The question as to how she's influencing, that's really up to her and what she finds as she's going to have to answer to her own God, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I looked at her photos. She's a very pretty young lady.
Very.
But what she's done is she's just done what everybody else has done, which is that in order to get the attention of, I don't know how many million followers that she has.
Almost 2 million.
Okay, almost 2 million. What percentage of those 2 million are men?
That we don't know.
Okay, I know. It's 1.8 million. I'm making that up, but I guarantee you it's 90%. Okay. And of the other 2 million, of the other 200,000, who are they? They're girls that are under 16. You're not going to have a well-versed Harvard graduate, lawyer, Latina female following her. Why? Because she's not engaging you in any way that's of use to you. She's either half naked or she's got her breasts out. So it's one thing to do plastic surgery because it makes you feel powerful and beautiful and sexy. It's another thing to be provocative and promoted as a sexual tool. And so from the images that she's posting, she's obviously had her nose done. She's obviously had her lips done. She's obviously had her breast done. And I don't mean small. I'm talking ginormous. She's obviously had her butt done, whether that's implants or fat or whatever. And she is using that as her marketing tool to make a living.
I think, for instance, I think the Kardashians have, she's also been influenced by someone. I think that maybe the Kardashians, because, the Kardashians are also very out there.
No, I'm sure. I mean, listen, she's how old? She's how old? She's probably 30, right? So the Kardashians were the first to start this trend back in the day. This idea that I'm nobody. I'm not a talented violinist. I didn't come out with a cure for cancer. I'm just an attractive girl, and I'm going to make something of myself, and I'm going to make myself relevant, right?
Yes.
You're relevant because you're a journalist. I'm relevant because I operate and I have a skill set. What's her relevance? What? She's pretty. All things being said, she's a pretty. What makes her relevant?
Well, that she's beautiful.
So what? There's 7 billion people in the world, and let's say 15% of them are considered gorgeous. 10%. So there's a billion attractive people. So what's her relevance? What's her relevance is she's near naked, and that's her.
But nowadays you see so many girls that are in bikini on social media. I think that's why the magazines, are going out of business, because you just go into social media and you see all these pictures of pretty girls, and
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with, Sports Illustrated was considered controversial 30, 40 years ago. That's not the issue. I mean, there's a difference between being in a bikini every so often and being like on a beach exercising. There's another thing working for swimwear company, and there's another thing literally looking seductive with your back arch and your butt out. What's the message there? The message is I love swimsuits. The message is I love sun. I'm actually doing yoga. What is your point? Your point is I'm trying to be sexy. All fine. You definitely can't say you can't be criticized. And as you and I were saying, the problem is, okay, so the people that are male looking at her, okay, so so let's go back to what's the downfall of her doing this? So one argument is like, so what? Leave her alone. She wants to be half naked. Don't follow her. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Knock her. I'm all the power to her. The problem is the men looking at her are now looking at their girlfriends and their wives going, well, shit.
I want you to look like
my
her.
wife doesn't look like that, which by the way, she doesn't look like that. She may look something like that, but I 100% guarantee you she's Facetune her body. 100%. I have a gal that came on. We did a session on social media with Haley Greenberg, who is a social media manager who does Facetune for other people. She knows that. So those guys are looking at her going, oh my God, my wife doesn't look like that. Honey, you need to look like that. The young girls that are looking at her because they're influenceable are like, oh my God.
I'm not happy. I want to look
Mom,
like her.
my butt's too flat. I got small little breasts. My nose is too fat. So they're unhappy and pushing their family to get them surgery or wait till they can afford it and get it. And all this image is doing is creating havoc for everybody. How is it benefiting anyone? But that's her
Social
influencer. That's what she's promoting. And don't get me wrong, I don't care. I mean, listen, I'm a plastic surgeon. If someone wants to get a boob job and get their breast done and go out there and post 1,000 photos of themselves and makes $250,000 a month, all the power to them. I'm not here to pass judgment. I don't care. I'm just saying this is the impact and the fallout of that social media influencers.
But, so a lot of people now want to be influencers because I think you could make money in a fast way without having to actually put in the work in schooling.
Of course. I mean, why do you think if you flip through Instagram right now and you go through your feed, every other photo is of some woman? They're either fashion, what is it called? Fashion experts or beauty experts. They're either teaching makeup, doing fashion, or being naked. That's the three things that women are doing. Like, I'm either going to teach makeup. Four things. I'm sorry. I'm either going to fake it like I'm an exercise specialist and be in Lululemon and doing a bunch of jumping jacks. Okay. I'm going to put on makeup for you and shoot you tutorials.
Right.
I'm going to wear fashion and walk around city with coffee cups, acting like I'm caught in the moment. Or I'm going to be sexy and wear bikinis and stand around and be provocative.
What I see is that like a lot of the younger crowd, the younger generations when they see these influencers, well, they want to look like them, and then they get addicted to surgeries until they look like their influencer, their favorite influencer.
For sure. I mean, that's the whole body dysmorphia concept. There's the whole. I mean, how do you think people start looking that way? They do that because they're looking at her. I mean, that's what the word means, right? She's influencing them. And when you are like, look in the mirror and you're like, you have beautiful lips, but they're just kind of small now. It's all relative, right?
Right.
And you got a big fat nose comparatively, right? And you got a big fat waist comparatively, right?
Yeah.
And you start picking yourself apart. You know, we have more depression probably now and more anxiety than we ever had. And we have this phone in our hands. Don't get me wrong. I'm subject to it all the time. I mean, that's why you got to be careful what you see and what you allow yourself to be seen. And I mean, parents have to help their kids. You got to monitor it.
So we're going to go to a pause, I think. And
let's do it. Let's go to a pause. We'll be back here with Jessica Maldonado. We're talking about influencers, particularly this controversial Latina influencer. But I think at the end of the day, it all is the same. Join us in a second after the break. We'll be right back with Plastic Surgery Uncensored. All right, welcome back to Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm here with Jessica Maldonado, our Latino entertainment expert. We were talking about social media influencers, pros and cons.
Yes.
We were talking about this particular young lady, again, Alexa de Llanos. Listen, again, all the kudos to her. I have nothing bad to say about her. We were just talking about, like, all we're doing is stating facts. I'm not stating that she's good or bad or whatever. I'm just saying as a result of her postings, these are the things that are happening. You know, if someone like her to take offense to it, then they need to really look in the mirror and say, oh my God, what am I doing? Because all I would say to you is we're just reiterating what actually is. Conversely, I'm sure there are other women influencers that are doing maybe less damage or maybe more good in terms of sending out an image that is more achievable. Because what you're doing is you're putting out an image, and that image, first of all, it has to be a real image.
Right.
It has to be an image that's real. Like, it has to be, if you happen to be 5'11", super well built, beautiful breasts, gorgeous nose, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. That's great.
Yeah, flaunt it.
But if you got it through plastic surgery, which is fine, what you're doing, and then you're face tuning your body, and then you're standing in very provocative ways that are misleading, you're sending out a message that's not real. So I would say, like, if you're going to be an influencer, then influence people in a way that's realistic so that they can aspire to be like you, really successful or really athletic. Oh my God, look, my favorite influencer. She's in such great shape. She's had 4 kids. Look at her body. That influences you in a way like, yes, I can too do that.
Yes. Now we're going to mention Alejandra Espinosa. She's from, she's an influencer also. And I remember when she first started, she has like 3 million followers. And she does a lot of fashion. When she first started, I remember, meeting her beautiful face, nice person, nice girl, young. But she had a problem because she thought, that her breasts were like humongous, but they're naturally humongous. And I remember that she wanted to just, reduce her breast because, she was so young, and she said she would always get so much attention, but she was like insecure with the gigantic breast that she had.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I just went through her photo. I'd never seen her, Alejandra Espinosa. Very, very beautiful girl. And the reality is, if you scroll through her Instagram, you get a feel for who she is, right? That stuff isn't being put on your behalf. You are putting that out there. That's the message that's the brand and identity you created. Whether it's real or not is up to you, but you have control over it. So if you put, out of 100 photos, 98 of them are you naked, then that's the image you're portraying. And if you, out of 100 photos, 2 of them are with you on your vacation with your mom in a bikini, but the rest are of you in fashion with, at a basketball game, wearing different kinds of fashion, that's a different message. I mean, she looks like a very classy young lady. She looks like pretty, and she looks like she's elegant, and maybe somebody like your daughter would aspire to be like, oh mom, look, she's so good for her. I mean, again, you don't have, the problem is that people feel that if I want to be an influencer, which I don't know why you want to be an influencer or what gives you the right to be an influencer.
Because I think it's a shortcut to going to school.
Yeah. I think the reality is that if you're going to be an influencer, then you should You should hope to influence people in a positive way. And the problem is that when you have nothing really going for you, right? Just think about this.
Yeah.
If you're a super talented singer, are you going to post pictures of you naked, or are you going to sing on your Instagram? If you're an amazing athlete, if you have an incredible mind, if you were a brilliant mathematician, but if you got nothing going and you just happen to be attractive and then get plastic surgery and be more attractive and sell sexuality, well, that's called prostitution. It's selling sexuality in various forms. Again, I don't care what you do, soft porn, whatever you want to call it, and I'm not here to condone it or not. I'm just saying the problem is that it's before, if you wanted, let's say you wanted to access soft porn, you would have to go to the magazine stand.
Right.
It was
Now you don't
behind a
have
certain
to.
section, and you would get it, and you would choose to be influenced by it. Now, if you are on your Instagram, there's no real regulation, and what's considered soft porn is ridiculous now, is nothing.
There's
I mean, the
nothing,
limit that we can push ourselves now, and so there's no one filtering it. So if your daughter doesn't have a choice indirectly of looking at these images, she's being influenced without her discretion. And the reality is that's the problem. That's where the danger comes
The other day, I was in an airport, and I was picking up a conversation with this older man, who was there, and he was like, "Oh, I just started Instagram." He goes, "Oh my God, when I was young, just to get my girlfriend to take a photo of her and maybe showing the little bit of color of her bra, blue or in a bikini, it was like, oh my God, I had to, send her so many flowers and do this. And it was like so impossible. Now, I tell he married, obviously, his girlfriend at that time. And he goes, now you just go through social media. You see all kinds of booty and boobs and everything without,
Flesh.
all this flesh that you see like this. If I would have known social media was like this, I would have been there before this. So I started laughing. I go, oh my God, what is wrong with this man? But it was so funny, but that it was true though.
I mean, what do you think?
know?
I mean, you promote child pornography because now you have an 80-year-old man looking at a 19-year-old girl who's posting for her friends. No, you follow? Everything is all jumbled. And it's a slippery slope. And we're seeing the ramifications of it. Eating disorders through the roof. Plastic surgery on young people through the roof. Depression through the roof. We've always had it.
Depression because you don't look like these beautiful girls.
You're just
on
unhappy.
Instagram.
You don't even know what the reason is. Sometimes it's not as simple as people aren't necessarily going, oh my God, I'm so depressed. I don't look like whatever her name was. No, they're going, I'm just unhappy. Life isn't wonderful. I don't feel fulfilled. My life is not as good. So it's just a general cloud because you're looking at these images. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at those images. And I look at them and I'm like, God, my life sucks. Right? And the truth is that it's all make-believe. It's all staged. They find the perfect light. They find the perfect outfit. They stand somewhere with wind blowing in their hair. It's bullshit. It's just not real. So, I mean, we're going to keep having this conversation. People know that if they want to hear the truth, they're
nitty-gritty.
They're gonna tune into another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. But it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, doctor.
We'll have you again and
Yes.
again and again as our sort of in-house expert on the Latinos.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. As always, tell your friends, share, subscribe, and most importantly, download.